My name is Rob Bryson, and I'm a member of the Fox Waterway Advisory Committee. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the changing water levels we have seen in March. The Fox Waterway Agency has a mission to minimize flooding, so understanding how water levels change and are managed is important. The IDNR, Office of Water Resources, manages the water level in the chain of lakes by opening and closing the gates of the Stratton Dam in McHenry. On March 19th, the IDNR sent out a notice that shared information about inflow, outflow, and the lake level. They highlighted that inflow would be increasing and peak at 2,900 cubic feet per second. They indicated they would be lowering the gates to increase outflow, but would try to limit the outflow to a height of 3 feet in the tailwater. The higher the number, the more outflow. They expected through this management they would limit the rise in the lake to 4.5 feet. The chain of lakes received water from many sources. Fox River is a significant source, yet there are also a number of creeks, drainages, and road runoff that contribute to the inflow into the lakes. This USGS gauge measures the flow of the Fox River at New Munster. This graph shows that the recent inflow from the Fox River tripled to a peak of 1,830 cubic feet per second. This represents just over 60% of the peak flow forecasted. This gauge measures the inflow of the Nipperson Creek near Spring Grove. Flow of the Nipperson Creek also tripled to a peak of 500 cubic feet per second. You will notice that the peaks were on different days, which reflects the variability of inflow into the chain of lakes. This information is from the tailwater gauge at the Stratton Dam. The height of the water is reflective of the outflow and is impacted by the opening and closing of the gates. When you see a vertical line, it is an indication that the gates were either opened or closed. You can see around March 14th the level dropped, reflecting the closure of the gates, likely reacting to the lake levels receding. Shortly after, the tailwater flow jumped back, reflecting an opening of the gate. This was the DNR reacting after a significant rain event. You will notice the tailwater level continued to increase and exceeded 3-foot level the DNR hoped to stay below. This gradual increase in tailwater height was due to the steady rise in the lake level. This information is from the gauge on Fox Lake at Lake Villa. This is the gauge the IDNR manages lake levels to. As you can see, at the start of this period, the lake level was at 2.5 feet, which is the level the IDNR tries to keep the lakes at during the winter. This is called winter pool. With the significant rain event, and even with the gates being open to increase outflow, the lake levels continued to rise until it peaked at 4.2 feet, which is the high side of the summer pool level. This transition from 2.5 feet to 4.2 feet on the lake means that approximately 4.5 billion gallons of water has accumulated in the chain of lakes. This graph is again the Fox River at New Munster, but the turbidity level is also shown. Turbidity is a measure of water clarity. This shows when the flow rate surges, there is also a surge in the inflow of nutrients and sediment. At times there are high water events that restrict boating. No wake is instituted when the lake level exceeds 5 feet. This March demonstrates the importance of winter drawdown. Without winter drawdown, the lake level would have exceeded 5.5 feet, which means there would have been flooding in some areas. This also demonstrates how it is a balancing act between not having too much outflow downstream and not having the lake level go too high. In the winter, with winter drawdown, the IDNR has much more flexibility than in the summer when they are trying to manage the lake level to around 4 feet. The chain of lakes is a huge buffer, but many times it is not enough. I want you to think of the number of times we had high water events between 2015 and 2024. The answer is 28, which tells us there is plenty of opportunity to improve our management of runoff. The good news is management of runoff not only reduces the risk of flooding, it can also improve water quality. Let's work together to define and support projects in our yards, neighborhoods, and communities to manage runoffs. Thank you for watching.